Hello, happy Sunday, everyone. I am ready for play date today. Like, I have come prepared. I'm blinged out. I got my Labradorite. Like, I am in the zone today. Now I say that, and then I'll draw some cards that'll bring up a bunch of blanks. But last week I felt a little off my groove, and some people say they didn't notice it, but I certainly felt it. Thanks for hanging with me. But today's going to be a good play date. I feel it. So let me say hello to some people. Shane, my son, first one in. Lucian, second one in. Hi, Lucian. Nice to see you here. Sandra, my friend, hello. Jonathan, aloha. Sue, good morning or good afternoon or good evening, wherever you're at. And let's see who else is in here. Oh, we got chatting going on. Wendy's here. Hi, Wendy. Elle, good morning, my beautiful daughter. Let's see who else is here. Simon's here. Haven't you had a busy day, Simon? Seems like you've been running around, if I'm following Facebook correctly at all. Let's see, who else do we have in here? Jenna's here. Hello. Bastard's here. We have Patrice. Hello, Patrice. Thank you for your lovely comment, by the way, on Facebook. I couldn't figure out a nice way to respond to that other than the heart, but it was really touching. So thank you for that. Oh my gosh. Okay. The chat just jumped all the way to the bottom, which is not awesome when I try to look at the camera, so I don't look like I'm looking at my screen the whole time. Let's see, who else do we have here? We have Elizabeth and Maharet. Hello, hello. Chris Kelly's here. Hey, player. I like that, players. Oak Mama's here. Hello, Melanie. Jackie's here. Hello, fellow mom of Elle. And who else do we have? Did I say hi, Val? No, I don't think so. Hi, Val. Nice to see you. Robin's here. Hi, Robin. Kimberly's here. Hello. Let's see. I think I said hi to Emily, but if not, hi, Emily. Natasha. Hello, Selkie. Hi. Chris Kelly's here. Oh, did I say hi to you, Chris? Oh, goodness gracious. I can't remember 15 seconds ago. Kristen, hello. Sean, good morning. I know I can say that because you're in my time zone. Mindy, hi. Thanks for enabling me, Mindy. I already got an email back from Alexander Daniloff, and I need to finish placing that order for his gorgeous tarot. The chat jumped again. And I don't want to miss saying hi to people because I swear I saw Heather Carter in here. Hi, Heather. I'm sure you're in here. There you are. There you are. Hello. All right. I think I found my chat again. And then we have, okay, saying hi, Marina. Hello. Okay. I might have said hi to Marina already. I don't even know. Aquarius Owl, hi. It's going to be a busy play date today already. Brand's here. Hi, Brand. Nice to have you in here. I swear I saw Beckett in here too. Wiccan's here. Hello. Tammy Pie. Hi. me. Okay. I know I saw it in here. Jilly's here. Little Zen Crone. There's Becca. Okay. If I missed anyone, I'm so sorry. My chat keeps like jumping in spurts. So if I did not say hello to you, thank you. Loving the shirt. So I saw this on Instagram from a company called Bonfire on Etsy, I think. And I just love it. So I don't know if you can see. Let me stand up here for a second. So we have the hand here holding the tarot cards. No justice, no peace. And yeah, so it just came this last week, and I thought, I'm going to wear it in play date. I'm ready. Okay, so I am so glad to see you in here, Heather. It's nice to have you back. All right. Okay, everybody's here. Let's get started, shall we? So, first of all, are you getting one, Tammy Pie? That's awesome. Patrice, I saw that you ordered the Daniloff deck. All right, let's get play dating, shall we? Because I'm really freaking ready today. I'm still scrolling just to make sure I didn't miss anybody. If I missed you, wave at me. All caps or tagging me is always helpful. Yeah, you ordered it too, Simon, so you have to let me know when you got it. And I think, Elle, didn't you order this as well? Anyway, last week we had the King of Wands, and I was struggling with this king. I'm not going to lie, in last week's playdate, but everybody in the chat, of course, brought it and helped a ton. And I wouldn't say that he really manifested for me or really kind of showed up for me until probably yesterday. But it probably didn't hurt that I actually did this week's activity yesterday and actually late last night because I don't know, the day got away from me. So I celebrated 4th of July by first doing a full moon tarot spread for myself. And then I went ahead and did the spread that we had for the activity. And it was a little scary to do it. And I actually posted it in the Playdate group. And I just thought, oh, sharing spreads about yourself always feels really vulnerable. But I figure if I can trust anybody, it's all you people who come to Playdate every week. So thanks for being those peeps that I feel like I can do that with. But did anybody else have him show up for you this week? So Corey Sal says that guy came up for me in multiple polls. Emily, I got this shirt on from a company called Bonfire. I think that's right. On Etsy, but I think it may have been a limited run. But if you look for Bonfire on Etsy, and if you remember, you can always send me a message on Facebook or email me, and I can see if I can get you some more information. Yeah, see, Jonathan, that's one of the things that I've actually found out. So Jonathan said, seeing your spread reminded me that I hadn't done mine yet. And I often find that if I actually do the activity that I give you guys every week, then I tend to see more participation. So I need to be a little bit better about leading by example. And I talk to my friends about this all the time. I'm like, I need to be better, but I let the week get away from me. But it really does help me connect with that card, and it just gives me an excuse to play with my cards during the week. So I need to do that. Ooh, am I buffering for anybody else besides Wendy? I hope not. Oh, I'm glad you liked the spread, Kimberly. Thank you. Let's see. Tammy Pye said I've had a few really meaningful readings with that king. All right, but are we ready for our next one here? Our new card for the week. So I think we've got a lot of people who know how this works, but just in case there's anybody lurking in the background who doesn't, first things first, we collect a list of 5 questions that we want to answer with our card this week. And I'm like bringing some extra. I'm actually wearing Moldavite today too. I don't know if I told you that. I'm wearing the necklace that Jessie Driscoll made me. So I'm bringing the magic today, folks. I want us to have a really good play date. So if you can, bring me your questions in all caps so I don't miss them. What would you like to ask this week that we here in the Playdate group can help you answer? All right, Simon's ready for me. How can we prepare for the new normal? Do you think it'll ever, yeah, it has to be a new normal. And that's a really great question, Simon, because there's a lot of things that have been happening. But I don't think we'll get to normalize too quickly. So this will be a really fun question to ask. How can we prepare for the new normal? And I have Jonathan's ready. How can I be more authentic with myself and others? Oh, I love that because that is actually it's a personal mission of mine right now. I just put up my June reflections video last night, and my card for this month is the Queen of Swords, which is the court card I identify with. And I feel like I'm right in that space. So thanks for asking that. How can I be more authentic with myself and others? Who called you Jenna? I didn't call you Jenna. Did I, Simon? Okay. We know who that is. There is only one Jenna. All right. We have from Jilly, how can I manifest compassion for myself? Ooh, okay. How can we manifest compassion for ourselves as well? I like that. Compassion for myself. Thank you so much for bringing questions so readily this week, everyone. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Shane, how can we remember to heal physically, mentally, always this week? All right, I've got the questions. So anybody, I've got them. You are bringing it this week. See, the energy's here today. I knew it was going to be. All right, how can, thank you, Shane, we remember to heal mentally, physically, like our Shane, always this week? That's a great question. Very inclusive. All right, and then number 5 from Oak Mama. I always want to spell it with an A instead of an E. How can we remember to heal? No, that was Shane's. How can we integrate lessons from the moon? Oh, I love that with the full moon being last night. How can we integrate lessons from the moon? And I'm also trying to get back into my moon studies after being motivated by the 28 Days of the Moon series that I participated in. Okay, so Tammy Pie, how can we stay sane at home? You know, somehow I have a feeling that that question will still be good next week. So please bring it back. Essence, hi, by the way. How do we stay grounded in the present and not overthink tomorrow? You guys have so many questions. Boy, usually we don't have quite this overflow. So bring them back next week, please, please, please. All right, so our questions for the week. From Simon, how can we prepare for the new normal? From Jonathan, how can I be more authentic with myself and others? Jilly, how can I manifest compassion for myself? So how can we manifest compassion for ourselves? From Shane, how can we remember to heal mentally, physically, all the ways this week? And from Oak Mama, how can we integrate I wrote lessons from the mama. Lessons from the moon, not from the mama. Oak Mama. Okay, sorry. Okay, clearly can't talk and write at the same time. All right, so I know some people have snuck in. Sons to Soul Jen, hello, Hen, my lovely. Let's see, and anybody else who's come in while I've been chatting and shuffling. Okay. Neem, you can do it. We're going to motivate you to get out of bed today. I just feel it. Of course, the card never gives, or the tarot never gives us what we want, but what we need. So it'll be really interesting to see what we get. All right. How can we prepare for the new normal? How can I be more authentic with myself and others? How can I manifest compassion for myself? How can we remember to heal mentally? That's a new word. Mentally, physically, all the ways this week. And how can we integrate lessons from the moon? Okay, here we go. All right, we're breathing deep this time. And our card. 10 of Pentacles. Okay, I was really close. This morning I actually guessed that it might be the 10 of Cups today, but I'll take the 10 of Pentacles. What a card to dive into with everything that is in this card. So, as I always like to find out, what's your sort of first impression or feeling when we pull this card? So, Bass is like, yay, Sean's loving it. I'm loving it. I really wanted it. I was feeling a 10 today, you guys. I really was. Oh, Apurva, hello. It's nice to see you. I have a Tic Tac stuck in my mouth. There we go. Okay. Oh, thank Lord, says Elizabeth. Thank somebody, right? Becca says, nice. We're happy to see this card. Still a great card. Yeah, we'll take it, right? So much to dissect. See, this is going to be a good play date. I told you. It was going to be. Like, I was going to make that happen. So, first off, what are your sort of the things that you know about this card? What meanings come straight to mind? Of course, Alice says family, generations, legacy. Family is always kind of the first thing that comes to mind for me, and then legacy is the second. The Tree of Life position of the Pentacles. So last weekend, I attended Terrapalooza, and I know my friend Jennifer Ball was there as well. And Rachel Pollack gave a talk, and she talked about a lot of the hidden meanings and things in the tarot. And I would say the Tree of Life in this card isn't very hidden, But she was talking about that, and some other places the tree of life shows up as well, like in the Three of Cups, you'll notice the shape. And I just thought it was really interesting. Wendy says, I always think that only the dogs are noticing the white-haired person in the bottom corner, like right here. Let's see, abundance and community, says Bastet. I thought I saw Tammy Price say something about the stay-at-home card. There it is. At this point, I'm seeing the shadow. Okay, that's interesting and fair. Focus on the family instead of the self, says Jonathan. Simon says, wanting permanence, especially of worldly success. Yes, wealth, ancestors, family, right? Because we're dealing with the Pentacle suit. So this is all of our wealth, physical health, family, all those things. Does anybody ever see kind of more of a physical aspect of this card? Just out of curiosity. A bunch of family up my ass right now. Tammy Pie, are you feeling a little bit quarantined? All right. Oh, Selkie, that's right. You were in Terrapalooza too. I remember that. I'm sorry. I remember saying hi to you. Let's see. No privacy. Yeah. Sue says, I always feel protection with the arch over their heads. Oh, I like that. Selkie's noticing the tower in the background. The domestic life and domestic affairs. Jonathan. Hi, Bijan. Nice to see you. Emily, I think it looks like the family are bickering a little. At least they aren't as contented as they are in the Ten of Cups, right? We don't have everybody with just, arms wrapped around one another. This is maybe this is a less idealized version, maybe. Jennifer sees retirement. Yes, congratulations, my friend. Accepted into the community. Longman Tarot, hello. You're a new face for me. Nice to have you here. Physical security, says Elizabeth. Security, says Jackie. So you guys are on the same page. Wendy, satisfaction, completion, and secure family unit. Property, says Kristen. Enjoying what we have, says Kimberly. Yeah, so maybe this is a gratitude card. I know there's been a lot of talk of gratitude with Jen Science to Soul recently did her 7-day gratitude challenge. Wiccan says inheritance, generosity, and a love relationship that brings wealth and happiness. Ooh, I like that. Legacy, says Oak Mama. Security, inheritance, says L. The card shows wealth, security, and prosperity on a grander scale, says Jonathan. Shane says, within all the colors, I always notice the 2 white dogs, right? So a lot of people are drawn to them immediately, and other people seems like they almost don't even see them. There's a lot going on in this card. I actually appreciate this version of the RWS because you can actually at least see some of the line work. So much abundance, but not necessarily gratitude for it, says Emily. Ooh, interesting. Being and feeling secure, said Simon. Sean says everyday activities with family and community. Yes, yes, yes. 10 of Cups deal with emotions. 10 of Coins deal with the material. Definitely. Perfect practicality, says Sue. It is a practical card, but it still makes me feel good when I see it usually, although some people are seeing the shadow today. This came up in a card regarding ancestral property for Apurva. Sorry, boy, oh boy. I brought my tea with me, so hopefully I can loosen my lips and tongue today. It is also a card of traditions, says Elizabeth. Yes. Simon, seeking affluence and material success. Did the 2 dogs refer back to the moon, asks Sue. Oh, that's an interesting question. Although we have a dog and a wolf typically in the mood, right? Moon. But then I look across and I don't know, I have sometimes filmed with my camera facing the other direction in this room, and I have this huge tapestry of the moon, and I see these 2 dogs or whatever howling at the moon right now, right when you said that. Patrice says the blue cape looks like water running through the center of the card. So maybe bringing in a bit of that emotional feeling, even though that's not necessarily actually represented literally in the card. Although what's this too? So we have all this blue over here. So we're going to have to take a look. I'm going to pull this card up close here in a minute once I get past kind of your initial thoughts here. So traditional roles with the people, said Natasha. Emily, my first impression with the card is how busy it is, as you said, and it feels quite overwhelming. Like there isn't time or space to stop and smell the roses, right? And this is probably also one of 2 cards in the deck where the the suit isn't really part of the image. You know, we have these pentacles overlaying on top of the image and not necessarily a part. You know, it's like when we see, of course, I have no other card near me, but, you know, in the Five of Pentacles, you know, the pentacles are in the stained glass window or whatnot. And so this always makes this card kind of stand out in a different way, I think. Jonathan, 10 of Pence looks for a way to make things last for a long time, to keep things permanent, which can be passed down to the next generation. Again, kind of bringing in that legacy aspect, right? Psychically yours, hello. Passing things down, either material items or ideas, mannerisms, etc. Becca says, so much in this card we all need or strive for, right? It's like we want all the pentacles, or at least all the pentacles that we need, right? And that might be a different number for different people. Simon says, seeking traditional values. Oh, I like that idea, bringing in the values into this as well, and not just necessarily the material. Wiccan says, Mercury in Virgo, which means the messenger planet is an honored guest in the hermit's house. He comes bearing messages from the outside world. So is that in reference to this card specifically? Or is that now? So my astrology clearly needs a lot of work. So I will gladly be more informed on that. Jonathan, this is the card of inheritances, traditions, and sticking to what is established. Bijam says everydayness and sharing information. Oh, I like that too, right? Chris Kelly, Rachel Pollack talks about a biblical story where the dad goes off to war or something and comes back and only his dogs recognize him. This card looks like that. I forget the guy's name. Oh, that's interesting, right? And that's one of the things that people talk about a lot in this card is how these figures are kind of looking away, and this figure here is interacting, what it seems to be, interacting with the dogs. The old man makes me think of side view of the King of Pence, and maybe just a little bit older too, right, Patrice? Robin says, I'm seeing make hay while the sun shines. The couple is dancing before the tower. So earlier somebody says, you know, it looks like maybe they're arguing or there's strife there, and you're seeing dancing. So I love that. Wiccan, Lord of Wealth. True wealth refers to several forms of currency, family relationships, healthy boundaries, comfortable, organized home, and money. Interesting. Oak Mama, those dogs. I keep trying to mix up words when you're around. Those dogs say loyalty. Yes, they do. Let's see, Natasha, benefit from shared community resource, values knowledge that is shared from different generations. Like here in Playdate, we are the 10 of Pentacles, right? Jamie, oh, hi, Jamie. I think it is the culmination of your journey, bringing happiness to your home. And that makes sense, right? Because it's the 10, which is our number that numerologically represents completion, the end of a cycle, those things, right? Yeah, was that yeah for our play date community here? Wiccan, the walls and arched doorways symbolize a certain recognition of each person's need for privacy and respect. Oh, that's interesting. It's like Tammy Pie was saying earlier. It's like, okay, no privacy. Tammy needs some walls. All right, so let me pull this up because you guys are starting to dive into a lot of the symbols. Let's take a closer look at everything going on in this card and try to look past those pentacles if you can. So let's see here. Okay, let's see if I can hold still. Come on, there we go. So we have this little banner here too, right? With the castle or tower looking there. Lots going on in this card. The tower in the background. Oh, I don't know that I've ever seen that little tiny child there. Maybe I have, but it's not jumping to mind right now at this moment. I love the dogs. All right. I mean, so much going on in this card. So what jumps out at you? So I know earlier we had a few people call out some of the things that jumped right out, the dogs, the tower. Is there anything that has jumped out to anyone else that we haven't talked about specifically yet? Elizabeth said this is a Mercury card and we are in retrograde until the 12th. Shh, we don't talk about that. Next thing you know, I'm buffering and a new live stream is happening, all those things, right? Jonathan says, Lord of Wealth. This implies material wealth through money, investments, home, property, and anything physical. Bijam says this man, am I saying that? Is it Bijam? Bijam? You'll have to tell me. First or second one, or neither. The man is sat in his domain of achievement. Let's see. Oak Mama is responding to Chris Kelly, but says he came home disguised as an old man to check the lay of the land. Then you're talking about the story. Then he massacred the suitors who wanted to marry his wife. Well, why are they trying to marry his wife? Violence is never the answer, though. Let's just say. Silky noticed the little child first thing, right? And I didn't notice it until I put the card way up close to the camera. Sean is with me. Never saw the child before. Okay. Bijam says, love that child. The way, oh, don't jump. The way she seems to notice the man. Is it? Let me look. Let's pull that one in closer. I thought the child was looking away. Let me get the focus. There we go. Maybe that little child is like peeking around the skirts and sees the man. Is that kind of what you see? Let's see. Family crest signifying wealth and legacy. That one here, Tammy Pie, is that what you meant? Let's see. Family crest, says Sean. Definitely the castle on the wall. So you noticed that first? Interesting. Chris Kelly hadn't noticed the kid before either. Look at us all. The poor little person. We just look past those children sometimes. That's not good. Oak Mama, well-developed, secure, walled town. So, right. So noticing the walls. Earlier we had some talk about the archway. Shane says the emblems on the wall remind me of family crests. So Shane, being such a newbie to tarot, you picked right up on what everybody else is saying about that. Either one, Bijam. Okay, I'm good. Thanks. Jonathan, 3 generations of a family, talks about inheritance and generational legacy. Yeah, and so we do assume that these are all a family, right? They're all related in some way. I first noticed the puppy, says Gracia. Hi, Gracia, by the way. I always thought the child was looking at the man too, says Mendy. At least you noticed the child, which is better than I've done. Robin says, I never noticed before that the young man is holding a spear. Oh, like right here. I have not noticed that either. So you see that spear kind of leaning against the wall there. Interesting. I had not noticed that either. The child is stroking the dog too, I think. Yes, they are. Getting a little butt scratch, as most of our pups like to have. I know mine does. He likes to wiggle his butt right up to me. Scratch my butt, Mom. Let's see. Each generation seems quite separate from one another, but they happily share the same space, says Wickham. Emily, Terry Donaldson talks about a need to consult family trusted parties about decisions you will make in the future. A need to base policies on tried and tested ground. So going with tried and true? Oklahoma says the child is shy to meet grandpa, as the children so often are. Speaking of butt scratching dog. Let's see. Oh, Wendy, thanks for coming by. Sorry your internet's being troublesome. Jonathan, the bottom Sephiro is, I can't pronounce any of the words you're typing in chat right now, is the Malkuth kingdom, the Kabbalistic tree of life, which goes with the castle emblem on the wall. The bottom one, is it somewhere down here? Because I don't know what you're saying, but this just goes to show my newbie knowledge, right? Sounds silly, stable, happy weather. Oh, so Susie, you're seeing stable, happy weather in this card. At least we're finally getting some sunshine here in Seattle. This has been a rainy summer. But I suppose if there's any summer you have to spend largely self-isolating, I guess the fact that the weather isn't taunting us too much is kind of nice. Simon's talking about the spear here. So that's a positive symbol. The goal has been achieved. Negative, the positive aspect. I jumped ahead to conclusions. The positive aspect is the goal has been achieved. The negative is knocking on every door, but no one's home. Like, hi, hi, I need some wealth, right? Kristen says the placement of the pentacles is similar to the tree of life. Yep, definitely. We've talked about that one. Were you here earlier? Maybe not. Chantal, hi Chantal. The orange house jumps out for me. Kristen, the reason I was asking is just so I could say hi, by the way, not to shame you for not being here earlier. Mendy says, I never thought of the people as a family, but more of as different people in a village. The adults meeting for conversation, the woman not paying attention to the child, a man sitting around a corner. And I completely see that. I think because of how I learned the meaning of the card, I've always sort of thought of them as family, but a lot of times I can barely see them through the pentacles, if that makes sense. So I think really diving into what we see in this card today is going to be super helpful for me going forward with this. Yeah, nobody's really talked about sort of this orange structure or house in the background, right? But it's because it's so large, does that then speak to family stability or things like that? Jonathan says the tree of life made from coins. Each coin represents. See, clearly I know nothing about Kabbalah. The Sephiro, is it Sephiro? Sephirat. I feel like Sephiro sounds better, but I just might be trying to fancy it up. Is the orange building a church? I was kind of wondering the same thing because it does have that, what looks to be like a spire on top, right? Focus. If I put a face in there, it usually does better, right? So it does look like it could be an institutional building, or it could just be a fancy house, I suppose. Sue says the child and the old man are sharing the experience of stroking the dogs, doing a fun thing. The adults are deep in the detail of their conversation. So maybe these guys are taking care of all of the responsibilities, and these two are getting to sit back and just enjoy it a little bit. Let's just pet the dogs, which is what I prefer to do. Jamie says, I see the tree of life symbolism connecting the people, the older gentleman having provided going to all the generations shown in the picture. That makes a lot of sense to me. Oak Mama, it looks like the mother is taking the child past the guard to meet the grandfather as the one who will inherit the old guy's legacy. Interesting. John T says boats in the back, in the plaque. Oh, in the plaque, representing the journey of life. Where are the boats? Where are the boats? I don't know where the boats are, but it might, is it in here in the, oh, there, these boats. Do we see those? Come on, focus again. I did not realize those are boats, but you're right. Those totally look like sailboats. Thank you, John. Representing the journey of life. I loved that. Okay, Robin says we have trouble attending to our family connections when material concerns jump to the foreground, preoccupying our thoughts. Yeah, which is what I say when I can't get past those pentacles, right? So sometimes I get so caught up in the mundane and the things that I have to do, the responsibilities, that sometimes I sort of forget what I'm doing it for, if that makes sense. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, working hard for the money, but I need to remember why I'm doing that. And it's not just for the sake of working hard for the money. It's so that I can have those things that allow me to have those connections and the family and the legacy and be there for my kids and, you know, all that stuff, right? I say kids now. Look what you've done to me, Al. And Jamie. I don't know if Jamie's around today. He's probably working. Susie, could they be siblings discussing the family's future, leaving out the elder? Well, that happens, doesn't it, right? As people get aging, sometimes we start focusing on what they're going to provide rather than focusing on that relationship or that person, that human, right? Oak Mama says the whole architecture of the orange structure reminds me of a barn, right? So maybe that's where the providing is happening, right? That makes a lot of sense as well. John said they are scales, but also look like boats. Well, scales is even better. I mean, I like both. I like that you can see either one of those in the cards. So that's pretty cool. Jamie's still asleep. Well, you tell him we were thinking about him here in Tarot Playdate, okay? Bijam says, stroking the dogs could represent connecting with the wonder of the natural world. Yes. I like that. Wow, you guys, we have gone past 11 my time talking about everything that we see in just our first card. I mean, it's the 10 of Pentacles. So Jonathan says the material is of concern and ruling this card. The downside to this is that the people in this card may become so accustomed to such a wonderful living that it is all taken for granted, right? And we are talking again about the 10, which is the end of the cycle. So you have to be careful because things come around, right? We go through our ups, we go through our downs, and if they're not prepping for the future in the right way, that cycle could be a bit of a shock, right? I know that happened for me in February. So, and Jonathan says they may not appreciate the spiritual and emotional aspect of life, right? Again, getting caught up in that material and not representing the other ways that our lives can be enriched, or representing, recognizing. That's the R word that I wanted. Chris Kelly says, I love that the pups are doting over their human while the kids are occupied in themselves, and the animals are awesome. Yes, they are. Hi, Anj. Nice to see you. Oak Mama says the barn as a storehouse of wealth. Yes, absolutely. So are you ready for our first alternative card of the week? Hopefully I have an interesting random selection again this week, and I pre-ordered them so I wouldn't know which would go with which question. But I think it's time. Otherwise we'll be here all day and day. But this is such a great card, and you guys have so many wonderful insights, as you normally do. Okay, this is a bit of a strange one, and sometimes people like it and sometimes people don't, but I could probably say that about every single deck in my collection. So let's take a look today at the 10 of Pentacles in the Healing Light Tarot, which is a very different deck. It always feels very swirly energy to me. Okay, I need to move my little Labradorite that I'm keeping close at hand today. And let's find our 10 of Pentacles. At least I know they're all kind of like right at the end. Okay, let's put this back in the box. And this will go back here. All right, so here are my hands going to turn blue. Very like, oh, of course, they're already turning red from my pen that I'm using, apparently. I didn't know I wrote on myself. So here's our 10 of Pentacles. Now, this is actually really cool. I think I'm going to pull it close up right off the bat. And here we actually see, and this is a glossy card, but hopefully close it's a little better, the outline of the tree of life, right? I love those like tall trees that look like futuristic towers in the background. And then we have what I now know is called a Venn diagram, sort of highlighting the energy at the bottom. So if anybody knows the tree of life and knows what this position represents, that really could bring a lot into this card. And then once again, we sort of have these four figures, and we do have a child that's a lot easier to spot in this one. We don't really see, you know, because these are silhouetted figures, we don't really know the ages and all of that, but I still think it evokes a lot of the same things that we see in our original RWS, but without the puppies, which is really too bad because the puppies are a great part of this card. So let's see what you all think. Val says, I love the Healing Light Tarot. Jamie does as well. Gracia says the Tree of Life is more obvious here, right? They make sure we don't miss it in this one, that's for sure. Jonathan says Italian cypress is a sign of wealth. Is that what these trees are? I'm assuming so. Natasha says, I see a kingdom. Well, she didn't say I see, but kingdom. I like to add words to what you guys type. You'll have to tell me if I go off the rails with that too much. Gracia, the figures are easier to see here. Yes, they are, because they're not sort of shrouded in all of the colors. You know, we've stripped some of that away, which may or may not take away some of the meaning of the card, but I don't feel like it does in this one. Val says the bottom Sephira is Malkut, the earth or physical plane, right? So the fact that that's what's been highlighted in the, you know, the overlapping sections, which is called something of the Venn diagram, you know, is kind of meant to draw and say, you know, this is an extra point of energy. So that makes a lot of sense when we're talking about the pentacles and the physical plane. Thank you, Val. I really appreciate that. Emily, it does look like a summer's eve in the Mediterranean. Ooh, that sounds fabulous. Can I go? Can I go there? Longman Tarot says it has an ancient Roman or Greek feeling. So to me, those are two really different impressions that you got from this card, which I think is very cool. Thank you for confirming that I was correct in understanding you were referring to trees. Did I mention I don't have a green thumb either? So Natasha says the kingdom is the part of the tree of life. Cabal. Okay. Tammy Pie, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. I mean, by not saying something, did you say something? I'm going to guess you're not a fan of the Healing Light Tarot. Just going to go out on a limb. Silky, it is an older man saying goodbye to the children. Okay, I can see that. Patrice, the arch isn't present, giving this card a more open feel. So maybe we're taking away some of that privacy. Maybe that's why Tammy Pie doesn't like this card. Let's see. Oh, Jamie, how did I miss your capital letters? I see Val saying Jamie, yes, and here it is all up in capitals. So the Mandorla, thank you, is on the root chakra, grounding survival, prior lives, and habits. Oh, thank you. That's great. Let's see. Looks more like he's greeting his family, says Susie. So do you feel like they see each other? For some reason, even though, again, this is silhouetted, I don't know which direction the family is facing. For me, it almost looks like they all have their backs turned to this figure. Does anybody else see it that way? Or do you see them facing forward? What is kind of your first impression of the direction of these folks are facing? Oak Mama said, the tower reminds me of those Tuscan towns where everybody with a bit of money built a tower on their house. Interesting. So we talked here too, right? There's a little, maybe it's similar, right? I'd love to know more about the Kabbalah, says Bijam. Yeah, I have so much to learn. Longman Tarot asks, is that a temple on the hill? So right here, right? And it definitely looks like a very boxy, square, man-made type structure. Focus. Let me get maybe the 10 in there. Come on, you know you want to. There we go. It's kind of hard to tell, but I think you can see that for sure. Selkie says, yeah, it looks like they are facing backwards. The three people could be walking towards or away, says John. Bijam says it's more open and leaning toward the natural world in this card. Like the man has sent them off on a journey out to the world. Go traveling, he says. Go. Experience life. Don't wait for me to die and take my money. Go live your own lives, right? Let's see. Patrice says less structure without the arch. Also, the pentacles aren't placed over the figures. So more movement possible in this depiction. Yeah, because here we have the pentacles above them. And it does feel a little bit more freeing that way. Chris says 10 being renewal of cycle and coins being suit of security. It would make sense if it's the younger ones leaving home and starting anew with their own home, creating their own kingdom, right? So maybe this is a little, nuclear family here rather than siblings, or who knows, or maybe it's, I don't know, they're all his children. Like you can see it so many different ways. So our question to answer with this card was from Simon. And that is, how can we prepare for the new normal? And I think I really like the fact that we got that question for this version of the 10 of Pentacles. Bijam says, yes, go and leave me with my wealth. Let me sit here in the wealth I've accumulated. You go out and earn your own, folks, right? Stop leeching off me. So how would you answer the question, how can we prepare for the new normal? And I think, well, you guys are putting your answers in here because they're going to come. I know they do. That it's about these people. It's about taking the journey, being willing to kind of leave the security and the things that you know and the things that you're comfortable with, and be willing to venture off to seek something new and something that could potentially be better, right? I mean, I'd like to think these opportunities that we're sort of forced into allow us the opportunity for growth and to live a better life, because we can take these lessons that we've learned and go forward with them. All right, let's see what y'all are saying here. So Elle says the group of towers reminds me of the UK. The churches would all be in competition to have or build the tallest spire to represent their prosperity, wealth, etc. So I guess a shadow aspect of the card. So Elle, you're seeing these as like church towers, right? Or things like that. That's very cool. Chris, we need to accept that the new normal is not going to be the same as before and be prepared to change our perspective. Definitely. Emily says, contemplate your decisions carefully and in collaboration with others. Ooh, I like that too. Jonathan, we're returning to having multiple generations living together to support each other in these times of social distancing. That's true, right? Everybody's in the same house at the same time. Very true. Emily says, be aware that change will come and it may be surprising and challenging. Absolutely. So now, what if we bring the numerology into this, like the 10, right? How does that play into this? Longman says money and prosperity may not be as secure as before, right? So maybe, again, what we've been comfortable with isn't going to be the same as we move forward and we start that cycle again, right? So that's kind of, in a way, you were pre-answering my question a bit. Selkie says, fearful of going out and being with other people. So maybe there's a bit of trepidation or hesitancy in this card. Interesting. Very interesting. So we have sort of some light interpretations of this card and some shadowy interpretations of this card and how that can answer the question. So obviously, as always, if you take these and use them through your week, however it resonates with you is probably the right one, right? Shall we look at another card? All right, so next I haven't pulled this one out. Well, I must have done it at least twice, I think, but I have the Gorgon's Tarot here. Oh, you know what? The first time we got the Gorgon's Tarot when we pulled the Nine of Pentacles in our very, very first play date. Wait, is this going backwards in numbers? 7, 8, no, just kidding. 9. Jeez. And this is actually, I ended up picking up the smaller version of this. So it's not quite the size of my face, the way the original Gorgon's Tarot is. And I decided to use it because I haven't actually worked with it yet, even though the bigger one might have helped you guys see the cards. Let's see. Oh, we have some people still answering the last question. Patrice, the virus has separated generations to protect the elders. Ooh, very true. Chris, what made us feel safe and secure before will not necessarily be same as what makes us feel safe and secure after Coronapocalypse. It took me a second. I needed to add an O in there. So this is the Gorgon's Tarot. These are the backs. It's a round deck. It's produced by, or I have the big box somewhere. The publisher is Llewellyn, I think it's Llewellyn. Anyway, it's a black and white deck except for like the one card that they have. Let me pull this up and let you guys take a look at this version of the Ten of Pentacles. They're all females in this deck. There we go. I love that kind of sun in the background. Now, I find it really interesting that the 10 Pentacles are overlaying this central character here, but she's also got the dog. So I wonder, do we see her as that elderly man? And then we have these 3 over here having a little picnic, right? Schiffer. Oh, I had probably a 50-50 chance. Thank you, Emily. Thank you for clarifying. 10 is the end of the cycle and starting something new, says Oak Mama. So what do you think about this card? What do you see? Maybe I should have grabbed the big one. Might have been easier to kind of hold it up. This one definitely speaks to sort of the home and the family. I like sort of too how we have a bit of like a crescent moon sort of happening here, and then we have the sun back here. So maybe sort of the rising and the setting of some kind happening. Is this an angel with wings? Asked Bastet. Oh, I don't know. I guess I didn't see it like that. I saw it more as a cape. But yeah, you could see that as an angel. I don't have the book with me. I should have grabbed it. I'm sorry. Ill-prepared I am. The pool looks lovely. It is a pool. It does look like a swimming pool. Yeah, I'll go with you on that one. You want to take a dip in the pool? Let's see. The lady with the stars looks like an angel, said Selkie. The cape gives her an angelic appearance, says Patrice. So a lot of people kind of saying, you know, she looks like an angel. Robin says she's also wearing that cloak of many colors or patterns, the same as the old man in the first card. Definitely. Contentment and gratitude, notes Sean. Yes. It feels kind of 70s in the patterns on the wall and the fall. I'm not quite sure. Oh, floor. Got it. The wall and the floor. Got it. Tamitha, does she have a cloak or those wings behind the woman with all the pentacles? I think the answer is yes. It just depends on your perspective there. Isn't that crescent the arch over the family? Yes. We can totally see that, providing that same protection, right? So the same arch that we have. You're right. So maybe not a moon, but I saw a moon. But I'm in a moon mode right now. So maybe that's that. Are those rats? You know, it's funny, when we got the Nine of Pentacles, there was one of these guys like laying kind of on the bottom, We're like, what is that? I see them as dogs in this one, but maybe that's because I know that they're dogs in the original RWS, so maybe that's why I see it that way. Emily says it looks like a beautiful house. You know, definitely I see wealth here, right? This is not a family that is hurting financially, or at least it wouldn't present that way. Selkie says it seems very sunny and hot. Okamama says, I just read a news story about rats missing the restaurant food. Ew, that's yikes. Robin says the arch completes a trio reference to the sun, the stars, and the pentacles, and a crescent moon, right? So we do. We have the sun. We can see this arch as a moon, and then the stars within the pentacles. Interesting. Does anything kind of strike you as bringing, so we still have, what I actually love about this, we still have that tree of life in these pentacles, even though this is a different version of the card, obviously. So people don't seem to want, the artists don't want to let go of that very obvious meaning in this card, which I think is really interesting. Butterfly magic with hot tea. Hello. Yeah, this is our 10 of Pentacles. So shall we just go straight to the question on this one? Because we are running a little long today anyway. So this was Jonathan's question about asking. Shane says, I'm not a big fan of this card, but that big building reminds me of the orange one in the original RWS, right? So kind of, again, that big structure, that stable structure, whether that's a home, some sort of foundation, right? Church meeting, or this deck. Hi, TK. So Jonathan asked, how can I be more authentic with myself and others? So how would we answer that question with our 10 of Pentacles and really focusing on this particular 10 of Pentacles? How can I be more authentic with myself and with others? I think for me, again, as I kind of wait for your answers, you know, it's kind of recognizing what my role is in my family and home life, and being willing to embrace that without, yeah, being willing to embrace that, I think, is sort of what's coming to mind originally or initially for me. The Tower is in the RWS version, maybe. What do you mean? What about the Tower? Am I missing something, Bijam? Hashtag sorry. Does that mean sorry you can't come up with a way to answer the question? What does that mean? Come on, guys. I know you can do it. How can I be, I know Jonathan's got some thoughts on this. How can I be more authentic with myself and others? Maybe another thing too is, you know, we saw it in the original, you know, these three are here and this character's kind of over here. Is this person withdrawn? Are they excluded? Right? And so maybe recognizing that if you want to remain with these folks, then you have to put yourself out there and step out in there and say, hey, can I join your picnic? I don't know. Emily says, don't push down your feelings and emotions. It's important to express them in a healthy way, but it's also important to be mindful and considerate of others. Oh, I like that. Bassett says, go back to your roots. Remember what makes you happy and your life worth living, either dogs, people around you, etc. Right? So connecting with that legacy and connecting with family. Tammy Pye says, take a look at how your personality has been affected by your family. Oh, that's a good one, right? Because, and a lot of times those things that make us who we are, we can stay the same, or we can take them and learn and evolve from those, and not only figure out who we want to be, but who we don't want to be. Emily says, take responsibility for your feelings and emotions and experiences. Don't blame others. John T says, the sun, shine a light on yourself to find the authentic side. Yeah, and that's exactly what kind of came up for me when I did the King of Wands spread. Is the last card was kind of like the sun, like let the light shine, right? Take time for yourself, says Longman Tarot, balancing family commitments with your own space. Ooh, I like that a lot. Jonathan, step out of your comfort zone and embrace the moment. Robin, why is the woman on the right preoccupied with the pentacles where the others seem oblivious? Right? Well, sometimes we have people who are more focused on those physical things and other people who are looking for other ways to enrich their lives, right? So but it's an interesting observation, Robin. Kimberly says, love yourself and what you accomplished. Be happy to share with loved ones. Ooh, I'm loving this. Jonathan, invest in others and yourself for the greater good. Chris says there's a theme of the younger ones not paying attention to the older one who's bringing in the cash and putting the roof over their head. I think the message for us to answer the question might be to remember to be humble and take some time to acknowledge where our security comes from and be thankful. Heather says also the opposite might work. Don't try to fit in. Learn to be able to stand alone if necessary, right? So being willing to recognize what it is you truly want. And yeah, I think that's a great point. Longman Tarot. I was kind of reaching. I was stumbling around in the dark for that one, I have to admit. Longman Tarot said, surround yourself with animals. They are much nicer than people. Sometimes. Don't forget about those people. Some of them are all right. Emily, delve into those shadows to discover where those limiting beliefs come from. Ooh. Sandra says, I do like this deck. Let's see. Elle says the arches are symbolic of openings, passageways, and initiations. Don't be afraid to walk away from a legacy that doesn't serve you. Ooh, that one kind of gave me goosebumps a little bit, Elle. Very. Okay, you guys did much better with this particular question than I did. Oh my gosh. Shane says the figure with the fur shawl or wings or however you see it. Of course you see fur, Shane. Is at the base of the archway. They could be the base of this arch, this protection and foundation. Ooh, I like that too. John says the angel is the shadows. Step out and join your friends. Or like in the shadows, right? Sandra says, but I do like black and white decks too. Well then, see? This one, I can see why this would appeal then. This was the first black and white deck that I got and the first round deck. And at first I didn't like it because I had such a difficult time working with the bigger cards. But I think I'm going to like having this size. Okay, let's go on to our third one. So this is another one that's going to be maybe a little bit different. So this is the Chrysalis Tarot, which kind of has a bit of its own system. So we can probably, I believe... that the Pentacles suit, well, I know it's different. Scrolls, that's right. Oh, this sends a very different message, this particular card. So I'm going to get the book handy for this one. I know that this is a deck that Heather worked with fairly extensively, at least for a good solid month. This is the back. Aren't this beautiful? Okay. So this is the Chrysalis Tarot, which we just have this sort of lone tiger. What do you think? Are scrolls, oh, do I have it wrong? That would make sense because that card, thank you, Heather. It's a good thing you showed up today. Set me straight. I think I just assumed that they'll all be in the right order. And maybe I should not make assumptions. Okay, stones make way more sense. Okay, they probably have them first. Whew. Good save, Heather, because I was just, it's like, I don't even know what I'm going to do with that. Okay. Oh, this is cute. This is a cute card. Okay. Here we go. See, I would have led the whole group astray unless somebody else knew this deck. All right. How about this one, which we still have a single solitary figure, which is different. So let's see how this one goes here. I love that look on her face, though. And the crystals, those are my kind of stones. Yeah, sorry, guys. Clearly, I haven't worked with this deck yet. I've had it in my collection forever, and I keep setting it aside because it's one that I know I'll have to study a bit more because I can't rely exactly on my RWS knowledge. So my precious is vested. So definitely I see this character as having accumulated the wealth, right? But it doesn't feel like they're sharing it with others. It's got a bit of a Four of Pentacles feel to me a little bit. Yep, exactly what Emily says. Longman Tarot, content with all you've worked for. I mean, she does look pretty happy with what she's managed to gather here. Young hands. Yeah, older face, young hands. Interesting. Actually, the face doesn't even look that much older. It's more just the white hair that makes me think of that. Yep, Sean says, reminds me of the Four of Pentacles. We have the Elder and the Arch, but where's the family? Are those trees around her? If nothing else, they're like branches, but I do see that as trees. I'll definitely read this one out of the book so we can get a little bit more of an idea. I just thought I'd get your initial impressions. Ellie says, hi, Ellie. She says, me as well. I have had it for ages. Have you worked with it yet, Ellie? Or is it one that you've been just kind of like me, holding on and sort of waiting to decide if you want to work with it or when you want to work with it, I guess. Tammy Pie says she looks pretty content. Chris Kelly says her third eye is energized. Her strong material base brings her spiritual enlightenment. Also, enlightenment, yes, is the ring on the wedding finger. Well, I suppose it depends on which country you're in, right, or which time period, but it looks like it. Although that's her right hand. So Bassett says, what I really love is the fact that crystals are storing knowledge. So for me, this card is always about wisdom as well. Oh, I like that. Emily says she looks like a fae from the Brian Froud Fairies Oracle. I don't know that deck, but I'll trust you on that. Ellie says, no, I haven't worked with it yet either, but it feels, yeah, it's so beautiful. I don't know what I'm waiting for. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what I'm waiting for. Emily says perhaps her family is the forest and the trees. Ooh, that's interesting, especially if you're looking at it kind of from that fae perspective, right? Butterfly Magic, she's just so cute. She is. She's adorable. Selkie says maybe she will not share because she realizes that the younger people have to learn to make their own living. They have to wait for the inheritance, right? And can you hear Tika? He's like way over in my room down the hall, but you can hear, you can still hear him. He's got a loud voice on that old little man kitty. She looks like she has so much to share with and pass on to us, says Oak Mama. She's rocking a brilliant lockdown hairdo like me. I love that. Let's see. Some people wear their wedding band on the right hand. Yeah, that's what I was kind of saying. Just kind of depends. Shane says, as the trees have grown, so has the figure, cultivating the crystals during her time. P.S. I think that ring is on her left, our right, Mom. Oh, you're right. So here's the problem. When I hold it up to the mirror, it mirrors, and then I tried to reverse it again in my head. So a lot of times after play date, after staring at these cards, and then I look at them front on, I realize I have the card pictured completely backward in my head. Yeah, it's like a double reverse thing happening. Susie says, I like her. All right, let's see what the book says. Not about spirals, but about stones, because I think this one might be good. The key word here is possessive. So it is kind of pulling some of that Four of Pence vibes in, isn't it? Woe to the soul who attempts to wrestle away this sprite's prized possessions that he worked so hard for. Ah, see, look at us with our gender assumptions. Shame. This sprite has become entwined in an aggressive and possessive overgrowth of vines, a negative representation of worldly ties that bind. These guardian knots define who he is, and unless he detaches himself psychologically, threaten to stymie personal growth and his physical well-being. The Ten of Stones is about healthy choices to prioritize your success in the material world. Tarot cards numbered 10 signify transition to the next growth cycle once your priorities are balanced. 3 for 3 decks that I don't have, says Tammy Pie, which is interesting because I know you have a pretty good size collection. So our third question from Jilly. Oh, I'm thinking we're further along than we are. I haven't seen Jilly in a while, but hopefully she's here to hear it. How can I manifest compassion for myself? Ooh, so we think about that with this particular card. Sean, meh. I don't think I'm surprised at that, Sean, actually. How can I manifest compassion for myself? So I'm looking again here at sort of what the book said, knowing who he is, detaching psychologically. Interesting. How can I manifest compassion for myself? Oh, thanks for the cheerleading. Jenna has been a big cheerleader for me. I appreciate that. So how can I manifest compassion for myself? Recognizing that you've worked hard to get to where you have been, right? And that effort has been worthwhile, but also maybe easing some of the pressure, relaxing, being able to release your grip just a little bit so you can enjoy it more, right? Maybe something like that. Susie says she is grounded. Funny that Jonathan's question is the card with the solo figure, notes Shane. Yes. Let's see. Do I have other comments about this? Any other comments? Elle says building mastery equals building self-efficacy. Am I pronouncing that right? Efficacy. Efficacy is, I think, how we say that. All right. All right. Emily says, take a stroll around the garden like the Lady of the Nine of Pence and enjoy your achievements and prosperity. Ooh, right? So remembering to enjoy it and not just thinking about the accumulation and holding on to it. And when we hold on too tightly to things, usually then it ends up being wrenched from our grasp and becomes a lot more uncomfortable than if we sort of willingly release our grip, so to speak. Val says, understanding that it's hard to let go of things is easily during this world crisis. True. Chris says, does anyone know what type of crystals he has? Might give a new perspective on answering the question. It didn't say in the book. I mean, there's a lot of different sort of green colored crystals. I don't know how the camera light is showing up, but in person they look pretty green. Consider and set your priorities carefully, says Oak Mama. Yes. These are good answers. All right, I need a sip of tea here. Heather says, separate yourself from your behavior. How you behave is not always who you are. That's true too, right? Although, I don't know, I guess, actions, they say, do speak louder than words, but sometimes you have to act in ways to adapt to a situation or get through a situation, right? Jilly says, my neighbor came over because I left veg on the porch. So yes, we are trying to answer your question here about how I can manifest compassion in myself. And this is the 10 of Pentacles or stones in the Chrysalis Tarot, which kind of brings its own little thing. Anyone else have any thoughts on that before we move on to the next card? Jilly, scroll up to see some of the answers to your questions. Recognize that sometimes you get pulled away from things and you can't hold on to what you expected to hold on to, right? Be compassionate about the fact that you got pulled away from Tarot Playdate. Chris Kelly, Bijam says, it looks like clear quartz, very good for clarity and amplification. They are great for manifestation. Ooh, green heart chakra. Yeah, true, right? If you bring the chakra into it. All right, let me move that over there. All right. Now we're going to go a bit more ethereal here with the Moonchild Tarot. So let's see what I need my book over there. It's got to stay. I'm getting better at staying organized with all of this. All right, now I'm back to Pentacles, so I can't accidentally pull the wrong card. Ooh, this is pretty. Pretty card. Okay, we're going to go over there. Ooh. All right, so here is this is the Moonchild Tarot, 10 of Pentacles. Let's see, with our stone circle here. Looks very much like Stonehenge. Right, so no people at all in this card. Yeah, but it's a beautiful card, isn't it? So this, to me, kind of screams sort of that legacy and that history, right? With the stone circle that's been there for who knows how long. Julie was kind of, for her question before, was saying, I'd say all that green is about taking care of your heart. I love that interpretation, Julie. I'm glad you got back in time to say it. Love the standing stones. It's like a sacred space, says Emily. Yep, Jonathan, it still talks about legacy. Oak Mama lives collage decks. This is a seriously sexy image. Wow. Yeah, it's gorgeous. No dropsies. I sometimes flirt with disaster, though, don't I? Generations gather, says Sean. Ooh, I like that. Now, this one you have, right, Tamify? Kimberly has a heart. They gathered and left their energy there, says Susie. True, right? So even though the people aren't there, the energy of generations is there. Ooh, I like that. I also have a very strong legacy vibe from this card as well, says Shane. Yeah, so we're all kind of picking up on that legacy, right, in this particular version of the card. Now, are these moons, like multiple moons? Like what are we seeing here? I love the bright light. This really also evokes the 10 feel to me, right? That completion, the cycle, like I'm picking up on all of that in this card as well. Bijam says, I love this card, how we remember the past and bring our past forward through us. Jonathan, more generations that can be counted have used this ring of stones. Heritage, says Jackie. Sean says, I have this deck, but I don't use it. Because you don't like it? Do you forget you have it? I have a lot of decks that I don't use simply because I don't have time. But Emily says, that's what I was wondering. It feels like a sunset. Oh, so yeah, it does feel like a sunset. Yep. This is the Moonchild Tarot. So this is the Moonchild. This is by the same creator who did the Starseed, Danielle Noel, who did the Starseed Oracle and the Star something Tarot. Starchild. Duh. Starchild Tarot, which I don't like as well as I like this Moonchild Tarot. So butterfly magic, stability, can't move those stones, and also looks like a gathering place for sacred rites, right? So yeah, really talking about that stability of the legacy, right? I see the word big in between the two pillars. Like literally see it? In the card? Interesting. Susie says, wonderful feeling the alignment. Is it like the shape of the stones, Neem? Like, what? Now I'm curious. I must know. Do we want to answer our question? It's a very simple card, even though it's evoking a lot of energy and feeling, right? Oh, bio, not big. Oh, BIO. Sorry. You did say bio. I have bad eyes. So, you know, when you get into your late 40s, it starts to be hard to read some of those words. Sorry about that. BIO. Okay, I think I kind of see it now. That's the I, that's the O, and the B, even though there's no little line, unless it's a little B. I skipped you twice, Shane. I did skip you twice. Okay, so Shane said, I imagine those as the phases, even though they are whole. And then these orbs above the main moon remind me of the phases, even though they are whole. Said again because you skipped me. Love you, Mom. Love you, Shane. I apologize. I don't know why that happens sometimes. Skip him again, says Elle. Yeah, said like a little sister. All right, let me actually, because this book is pretty good. Let's see if it has anything else to offer us on the imagery here. Family, prosperity, security, happiness, wealth. As a card of completion and cycles of growth, this Ten of Pentacles calls us to commune with the sparks of our soul, which echo through lifetimes in harmony and bliss. This power conjures strength and security and is filled with spiritual fulfillment that connects us with soul, family, and friends. I love that concept, soul, family, and friends. Even though I don't know how I feel about the term soulmate, but I love the idea of soul, family, and friends. And there's more in the book, but nope, yeah. What Sean said, be nice, kids. So this is actually, Shane, I'm paying full attention to you now because now we're going to answer your question. How can we remember to heal mentally? I did that before. I keep trying to combine those two words. Mentally, physically, and all the ways this week. So how can we remember to heal mentally? Why am I trying to make up a new word? Physically and all the ways this week. Oh, gosh. So, Shane, does anything pop out right away for you? I think it's remembering that the foundation is there, right? And to understand that the journey that we've been on, especially like mentally, I think, well, even physically, I think for you, Shane, it's right. You know, you've been on this cycle of healing and recovery, and you've laid this foundation along the way that's going to propel you forward into the future, right? So Jonathan's back, had to deal with our cat being a brat and attacking your son. That is an aggressive cat. Yeah, TK just likes to yell and be heard in the background. But then we also have the whole thing with the cycles, right? So knowing that we're going to go through those cycles. Like today, and maybe this is why this is in my mind, but my card of the day is the Wheel of Fortune, and, you know, sort of that we know all things are going to change. And I think that's also why I felt like this was going to be a really great play date card for me today, for me personally, because it was just time for a change, like time for the energy to pick up, right? Let's see. Oak Mama says, Stonehenge really talks to me about transcending time and building something that lasts. Chris Kelly says, this card says time to me. Give yourself the time you need to heal and don't rush it. And trust in it, right? Trust that that the healing that you're doing is moving you in the right direction. Sorry, I hope you don't mind me expanding on that, because that was kind of getting to where I was trying to go with that. Emily, sit in a sacred space without feeling the need to do anything or say anything in particular. Connect to ancestors. Susie says, focus on the energy and love yourself. And you have it all around you, which is healing, right? Oh, Val, you got the wheel today too. Jonathan, the best healing is giving it time. So having the patience, right? I think that's really jumping out for a lot of folks, is the time aspect, which I really like about, especially this particular version of this card. Good stuff, folks. Very good stuff. All right, let's get, so that we don't get too late here, let's get on to our last one. And we are going to bring it, we're going to bring it around to cute with the Mons Tarot that I recently got into my collection. So this should be very RWS for us. Let me get our, oh, the cups are in the back. That's how Brant likes it. I know that for sure. I'm sure there are others as well. Oh, that's so cute. I mean, we knew it would be. Shane says, this card, the longer I look at it, really answers a whole lot of things about healing for me and this chat. So thank you, everyone. Oh, that's so good, Shane. All right, I've got our Mons Tarot 10 of Pentacles here. That's really good. I love it when the question or the answers really resonate with the person who asked them. So here is our 10 of Pentacles in the Mons Tarot. So we don't necessarily have the Tree of Life, but tell me what you see. Mushrooms, Elle. And a ladybug mushroom kind of in the back. Look, a pig with a horn. That's so cute. I mean, it's really a monster, but it's like a unipig. That's so cute. Yeah, it makes me smile every dang time. And I never thought these cards would be for me, but I have to admit, I smile every time with the Whispering Spirits, with the Mons Tarot. So darn cute. Yes, a unicorn pig, Heather. Like, we need one of those, right? We just need it. Obligatory Mons Tarot squeeze, says Tammy Pie. I'm squeeing right with you. I'm just trying not to get too high-pitched because I don't want to blow everybody's eardrums out. But heart in the center of the pence. Yeah, why can't I aim my hands? Depth perception. Yeah, that was actually, I think, believe it or not, that was the first thing that grabbed my eye today, was that little heart in the middle of the pentacles there. We have magic mushrooms, says Bijam. Wow. And yeah. And then are things flying above your head like this? A unipig. All right. A piggy corn. That's another way to look at it, Name. That's hilarious. Magic shrooms. My bad. Heather says, I definitely need one of those. Yeah, a unipig or a piggy corn. I think I prefer the term unipig. Reminds me of Monsters, Inc., says John. Yes. This feels much more loving than the traditional card. You know, that's a good point too, right? It's like, I feel like the unipig is looking up at this monster so adoringly and so lovingly. And, you know, we don't have anybody who's kind of another sort of adult looking figure. Everybody, it looks like these are like all children and family. This actually veers off from the RWS, I think, more than I expected. Is the monster giving the unipig a tiara? What is happening there? Okay, let's take a look. Oh no, that's its little monster hands. Or is maybe that like, does this take the place of the dogs in the original one? Emily says it feels content and very sweet. Yes. That's how my dog looks at me, especially when I have food. Yes, Heather. That's how my dog Eddie was looking at me last night when the fireworks were going off. Like, Mom, I'm going to stay close to you because you're going to save me, right? Natasha, it feels very grandparent-grandchild relationship. And Shane, don't worry. I know I skipped past you, but I'm coming back. The Unipig might be the dogs in the RWS. That's kind of what I was thinking. The love and adoration of dogs is true and undeniable. They are man's best friend and shown love by all generations. This card cleared up those dogs. So that helped kind of bring that meaning to light for you, Shane. That's cool. Julie says the blue gray reminds me of the McDonald's character. What's his name? Oh, like the Hamburglar? That one? That one's blue gray, right? I don't know. Let's see. Did I miss L or something? Why is Shane talking about, oh, throw a fit one time? You know, but at least I notice, right? Bijam says, oh, it's like he's like the monster is sharing wisdom through his ET fingers. Like, yes, I'm going to pass all of my knowledge onto you. I love that. Is the blue monster bestowing his worldly goods to the Unipig, right? His worldly goods, his knowledge, definitely passing something down. Like Natasha says, feels like a grandparent-grandchild relationship. Looks like a magnet. What looks like a magnet, Julie? Ronald? Ronald looks like it. This does not look like Ronald. No, no. No, Simon. Oh my gosh, you guys crack me up. This is a good one to end on. Oak Mama. Oh, his stick fingers glow like passing on a blessing. Bastet says, to me, it looks like the blue monster is using magic to give the little piglet the horn. Oh, like, ooh, I'm going to give you that extra bit of magic in your life, right? You see fit and instantly assume it's about, I totally did, Elle. I did assume it was about you. Cookie Monster, says Shane, but that's not McDonald's. There's a purple monster, though. Oh, okay, well, you guys can chat about the different kinds of monsters. This monster is just its own little thing, you know? This is a Tangy card. Boop. Yes, it is. Our own Tangy. Some people's pets are their most important family. Very true. Susie, Shemek Green on St. I don't know what you're talking about. Emily just says, oh, so cute. Essence says, I feel community more than nuclear family from this card, right? So the family we choose. There's been a lot of talk about that lately, right? The people that we choose to surround ourselves to help us feel that security and that stability. Selkie, the monster might be thinking sausages. It's a melted Smurf. Grimace. Oh, yes, Grimace. You guys are bringing back some childhood memories for me now. Okay, let's answer Oak Mama's question here, our fifth and final. How can we integrate lessons from the moon? Now, that would have been really interesting. We've had that question in the last card as well. But how can we integrate lessons from the moon? So maybe these are all a bunch of moons up here for this particular question. So as we move forward into this week, so we just had the full moon, right, last night for most of us. So how can we integrate the lessons? So I just did a video on the moon phases, and a lot of times the full moon can be about kind of releasing the things that no longer serve and moving forward. And maybe that is about like letting go of the things that hold us back from connecting with our family, whatever that means to us, right? And allowing ourselves to embrace those around us. But then also thinking about the end of the cycle, except for the full moon's kind of the middle of the cycle. I'm going to have to think about that piece of it. What if the moon were a cookie? The immortal words of Cookie Monster. That's hilarious. Hi, Lori. Nice to see you. We are answering our fifth and final question today here in Playdate with the Mons Tarot. Imagine how many lifetimes have seen our very same moon. Ooh, that's profound, Shane. Talk about legacy, right? Since the dawn of ever, right? Since the dawn of the planet, the dawn of humanity, we've all been looking probably at that very same moon. So how can we integrate the lessons from that? It's like some things, even though like the one constant is change, there are things that we can always rely on to be there. We look up into the sky and we see that moon, unless something really huge happens, right? But that is something that we can kind of hold on to. Our ancestors looked up at that very same moon. Ooh, you got me thinking, you got me rolling. That's very interesting. Sean said, as the wound wanes, that's not what he said. As the moon wanes, we need to let go. Julie says, have childlike wonder, right? So bringing in the moon and what fascinates us about that and the cuteness of this card, have childlike wonder. How can we integrate that? I love that. Good one. Bijam says, let go of wants and listen to what you need in life. Let's see. Love your inner child and play, says Susie. Heather says, the moon is always whole, even when we only see parts of it, and so are we. We don't have to show everything to be whole. Lori reviewed Mon's Tarot on YouTube. So did I. What'd you think? I mean, I guess we should watch to find out, right? Emily says, surrender to the joys of now. Heather said, the moon is always whole, even when we only see part. I know I just read this, but I don't think I fully focused. So I'm going to say it again. The moon is always whole, even when we only see parts of it, and so are we. We don't have to show everything to be whole. I did not read that, but I'm glad I did. That is really cool, Heather. Jonathan, just as the moon pulls on the tide, so do we have things ebb and flow in our lives. Don't hold on to things that are fading. Just give thanks that you got to experience them. Oh, that's beautiful too. And yes, embrace your little monster. Oh, you guys are good. This was a very inspiring little card to go with a moon question. Thank you all for bringing your questions. Now, don't go away because we're not done, right? We do like to talk about, even though I think many of us, myself included, don't read with reversals, we like to talk about reversals for those that do, or how we might view this card when it is in a challenging position or a blocking position where the energy is not quite coming through as clearly as it needs to. So I would say when this card is reversed, the obsession with legacy might be outweighing the happiness that you can get from what you've accumulated and the gratitude for that. And I'm going to tell you just a quick little story while you guys tell me what you think about this card in reverse. But I had a very good friend of mine from when we were in our our early 20s, say a few years ago. And he went on to become a very successful investment banker, making millions of dollars, but he also became really unhappy and really miserable. He got married, he had kids. And when we connected and reconnected and we spoke, he talked a lot. I said, why are you so unhappy? And he says, well, I can't worry about that. Like, all I need to focus on is leaving a legacy for my children, working himself to death. And I said to him, I remember saying to him, it's all well and good to want to leave a legacy for your children, but don't you think they want their father? Isn't that what's more important? And I honestly could not get that through his head. So to me, when this is reversed, it's that energy manifesting. It's forgetting why you're doing it and being so focused on that goal that you're missing the opportunities to use that as a time to connect with your family. So anyway, there's that. All right, let's see what Jonathan had to say about the reversal. 10 of Pens can represent family problems. It can indicate financial matters, wills, trusts, estates, or all sorts of things that family members can fight over. True. I mean, nothing brings out family strife than when somebody leaves money behind. Emily just said, everything looks so topsy-turvy here. Susie says, blue water, reversed fountain of youth. Ooh, yikes. Separation within the family, dissension, says Essence. Heather, reversed, I think it speaks to the pressure of family and fitting into the role that has been defined for you. Oh, that's a really interesting take on that as well. Family's important, Lori. That's kind of what we're talking about. So your daughter visiting definitely takes priority, I would say. Chris Kelly says, reverse, holding on too tight to our material possessions, keeping us from moving on to the next step in our journey. Home is where your heart is, not in bricks and stone. Exactly. That was kind of the point of my story. Jonathan says reversal can also represent lacking a support system from family. It can also represent being disinherited or simply not being offered financial assistance in a time of need. Ooh. All right. Did I miss something? Oh, yeah. Separation from the family. Jilly was cheering me on. Emily, that quote from Maya Angelou. I've learned that I can never decide if I want to say Angelou or Angelo. But I think it's Angelo. I get obsessed with pronouncing things correctly. I know it's distracting. Okay, so I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Exactly. And that's the kind of legacy that I honestly, truly spend time thinking about. How have I affected the people in my life? And when I'm gone, have I left with them what I intended to leave them with, you know? Julie says the family is falling apart. That's how I see it. Ooh, yeah, don't turn this card upside down, Julie. Bye, Sean. Thanks for being here. All right. Yeah, the quote from Maya Angelou. That's a great one. And then Heather, too, great. Sometimes what's expected of you by the whole causes you to lose what you want for self. And we can kind of think about it as we go back and kind of answer some of those questions, too, about being authentic with ourselves or being more compassionate with ourselves, right? So this has been fantastic. So as I always do, I'm going to leave you with an activity for the week, and I will try. I say this every week, but somebody needs to hold me accountable. Like if you don't see me posting, you need to be asking me in the Facebook group if you are a member. And if you're not, why not? Come join us. But it's like if I don't post the activity, say, hey, Jen, hey, did you do your homework this week? Because I will happily be called out on it, so I make time. We have been using, and I don't have the chat up while I pull this over. Let me pull this back over. The Tarot Playbook that we started with in the beginning. I haven't seen anybody post about this in ages. Maybe somebody will surprise me one of these days. So I keep throwing it out there just in case. But the Ten of Pentacles activity is called Amateur Dramatics. And that is on page 158. And it looks like it's a way to connect with the major arcana. So not necessarily, again, the specific Ten of Pentacles, but it's an activity. It says, like many theatrical plays, the major arcana is full of drama and comedy and tragedy and confusing endings. Plus, there are extravagant costumes, elaborate sets, excruciatingly indulgent death scenes. The majors should feel right at home on stage. So it looks like maybe some kind of dramatic something or other. However, I have an alternative activity that we created for the Ten of Pentacles. And when I say we, I'm always speaking about Jilly, Little Zen Crone, Elle, and myself, spending the 24 hours before Playdate launched to come up with activities in case people didn't have or didn't like the activity in the playbook. Okay. Okay, so this one is interesting. So this one is called, and this was courtesy of Jilly, it's about family. So think about it upright, shall we? And you get to, oh, she actually says this is the activity. Look through your deck and pick a card to represent each member of your family, however you define family. So it doesn't have to be the blood relatives, right? It's however you choose to define your family. Be creative and try not to use the court cards, which I was also going to suggest, but Jilly wrote that down. So this is a real simple exercise. If you forget, I will post this in the description box of this video down below. I will also put it in the Facebook group. I usually wait till the video uploads, which lately has been taking about 24 hours. So again, if you don't see me posting the link to this video and the activities, feel free to pop up your head and remind me. Thank you, Elle, for putting the link. Thank you to the mods. Thank you for everybody who contributed once again to today's Playdate. I could not do it without everyone participating, as that is actually the whole point. So thank you, Tarot family. I love you all, and I really look forward to seeing you next week to see what card we get, and to also hearing about how the Ten of Pentacles plays out for you throughout the week. So don't forget to bring that to us. And if you don't, if you're not on Facebook, don't forget on Instagram, you can use hashtag Tarot Playdate, and I will then be drawn to seeing how you relate to this card this week. All right, folks, have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and I will see you soon. Sending lots of love. Bye. All right, now I say bye, and it'll take me like a minute to end the stream. All right, here we go. Bye, everyone. Come on. Oh, no. This is going to do one of those things where it's not going to end. There we go.